This is True Buds, that Mary J. Now we ain't new to this. For my stoners and for my cannabis enthusiasts.
Decarbing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to take a second to talk about your method in decarbing, like what temperature you use and time frame do you like? Because I've experimented with.
I have changed it and finessed it a little bit over the years, and I probably will continue to do so. But right now I'm decarbing at 235 for 45 minutes.
Okay.
But I know the Vanessa Marigold, who is like one of my icons, I guess I'll say. I don't know if you know her. She was the host and chef of Bon Appetit, and she runs a edible company called Marigold Sweets or something like that.
Okay, I've definitely seen her then from the Bon Appetit.
And Bon Appetit was like my first exposure to like, this is crazy. You can do all of this with weed. This is lit. And I was already, like interested into cuisine and cooking and all that. But she has all like the facts and the stats because she has, the capital behind her to pay for lab testing and stuff like that to figure out like what the exact decarb is. And I believe she decarbs at 225 for 35 minutes. So I'm just upping the temperature. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been doing like 240 for 40 minutes.
And that's perfect.
And I did like 220 for 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And do you cover yours with foil when you're doing it? Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting. Like you're saying, it's always playing with it, kind of finding when I have people comment, I'm like, do what works for you. This is what I've done.
Yeah.
Because people are like, should I put foil on it? Should I not? My thought with the foil is it creates like a more stable environment.
And
keeping
it helps
the vapors.
it so the flower doesn't burn.
Yeah. Okay. I'm happy we're getting to the bottom of all this.
Yeah, that for sure. Well, that's something when I first started learning how to infuse, there were so few resources online. Like it was almost like you had to go to the dark web to find it. And maybe like 2 or 3 blogs actually had canna butter recipes on there or whatever. And they were all very basic. But one thing I remember is they're like, you have to cover your weed. So I've always done that. And I've never necessarily known like, do you have to? I don't know, but I'm just going to do it because that's what I've been doing.
Excuse me. I've tried it without, but like you said, it just smelt more too.
Mm-hmm.
I could see. I feel like it didn't keep it all in there. So
yeah. And the other day I decarbed in like normally I do it in just a thin sheet pan with like a little tiny lip. And this one I did it in like an 8x8 pan that you'd put brownies in. Okay. And so it had like a thicker lip. And this was the first time that when I pulled it out after the decarb, some smoke came out with it. And I was like, oh.
Okay.
I guess I was keeping in some goodness.
keeping that flavor in there.
Yeah, I guess I was.
So, and then you break it all up, or do you?
I break it up beforehand, but my motto is always you want to break it up like you're packing a bowl in high school, like with your hands. You don't want it to be super fine.
Yeah, you don't want it to sawdust.
No, you just want to barely break it down.
Do you do keef infusions ever?
I mean, I just put it all in there.
Yeah, okay. I've only done one keef infusion. And now, what are your thoughts on some of these things out there, like I think it's like the Ardent, like the butter machine all in one. I have the LEVO 2, like decarb or infuser.
The LEVO I'm obsessed with, but I don't have it. But I just know that it's a game changer. I personally infuse with a sous vide.
Okay.
So what that does basically is it puts it in I put my cannabis and butter in a jar, and then I let it I put it in a water bath for like 5 hours. 3 to 5 hours, depending on how I'm feeling that day. And the sous vide keeps it at like a consistent temperature the whole time at 185. And then so that's how I infuse. The LEVO I think is great because it's all in one. And I believe they decarb too, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing. The Ardent, I have never used it before. The only reason I've never really been curious to, because I'm like, I have an oven.
Yeah.
Why would I pay for something to decarb my flour? But
is it an infuser too or no?
That's what I've heard, but then it's kind of just, again, like, it's like an oven / crock pot.
Yeah, that's my thing that I always say, like, if you're trying to make edibles, just use your oven and a crock pot. Really, you don't need all the fancy stuff.
And the magical butter is, I've never used it, but from what I hear from other chefs, it's kind of what I just said. It's basically just a crock pot with weed branding.
Yeah, huh.
But I hear that it does a good job. I hear it gets the job done, and they've been in the business since long before it was cool.
Yeah.
This is True Buds, that Mary J. Now we ain't new to this. For my stoners and for my cannabis enthusiasts. Never heard a show as good as this. Number one, it's the best. Bringing in many special guests in the industry of cannabis. Business owners to growers, even artists you know of. So sit back and just roll up. Perfect show for my smokers. True Buds, ayy.